Hi, I'm Marc Edwards. Welcome to Travelogue and welcome to our Taiwan series. In this episode, we're going to be taking in a little bit of culture and a little bit of history as we head from central Taiwan all the way down to the southernmost tip, taking in Tainan and Kaohsiung on the way. We're lucky enough today to be at the largest, and I've been told, the wildest religious festival in the whole of Taiwan. That is the Mazu pilgrimage. You see people all around me, and actually I'm going to go and walk in towards the temple and the fireworks. Let's go and have a look.
Beigang is our hotspot destination to take in this once-in-a-lifetime experience. To be precise, we're heading to the lively Chaotian Temple, also known as the Palace Facing Heaven. Visited by no fewer than 3 million people every year, this is one of Taiwan's most important religious sites. Its fame rests on something it was built to enshrine, an image of the goddess Mazu, the goddess of the sea who protects seafaring people. Brought to Beigang in the 17th century, it's been worshipped here ever since. And all this veneration is hardly surprising when you take in that the island's been so dependent on fishing and immigration from across the sea. Just so happens that this time of the year is when hundreds of groups coming from temples all over the island make a pilgrimage on Mazu's birthday. They bring their own Mazu effigies to commune with the venerated deity here, the belief being that this will confer greater spiritual energy on their own images for another year.
Right, the best piece of advice I was given all day is to make sure you wear something long sleeve and something long at the bottom. Now, that's because the fireworks, as you can see behind me, are absolutely crazy. You'll get hit everywhere. Make sure you've got some earplugs, something for your eyes, cover every bit of your body. Even here, even that.
What happens is that a few days before the big day, hundreds of thousands of Mazu devotees will besiege the town to see her paraded through the streets in a ceremonial sedan chair. The backdrop to this is a chaotic kaleidoscope of fireworks, the largest of its type on the island. The festivities reach a crescendo on the actual birthday, when a dawn ritual is performed to thank Mazu's parents for bringing her into this world. One version of the Mazu story has it that she was a real woman named Lin Monyang, who was born in 960 AD and spent her whole life in selfless devotion, guiding ships into harbour and saving seafarers from drowning.
So on this very day, people from all over the world who are Mazu worshippers will come back to their particular region, and in this region is where all the smaller branches will make their way to the main temple where we were before. So it really is an international day, full of fireworks.
In many ways, it's hardly what you'd expect from a religious festival. It's bright, it's colourful, and it's loud. More akin to the carnival in Rio. There's a real feeling of camaraderie here, as well as the sense that you're continuing a time-honoured tradition. If you've ever wondered what it would be like to experience the colour and religious fervour of a medieval pageant, then the Beigang Mazu Festival is for you. Even if it can be a little heavy on the ears, it's a treat for the eyes. But that's not the only part of your body that'll be treated. Children on blimps showering everyone with candy really reinforces the carnival atmosphere, as there's music everywhere and the costumes are all so extravagant. Doesn't come cheap though. Parents beware. The local wisdom is that it can cost as much as $300 to keep your child in sweets for the day. Right, it's time to get out of here before everyone's teeth have rotted off completely in a haze of sugary heaven. On to somewhere a little quieter.
So I finally managed to rip myself away from all the fun and craziness at the Mazu pilgrimage in Beigang. And I've headed down south an hour to Tainan, which is the oldest city in the whole of Taiwan. It's got around 400 years of history, and I've been told that tradition permeates the entire place. So we've got lots of little streets and traditional culture everywhere.
Tainan is the island's fourth largest city, with a population of just over 750,000 people. It wasn't always that way. For more than 200 years, from 1661 to 1887, Tainan was Taiwan's capital and the cultural and commercial centre of the island. These days, Tainan is regarded as one of Taiwan's most socially progressive cities. Modern, but clean and cultured, where a 21st century social scene is combined with deep respect for history and tradition. Just lose yourself in the maze of narrow lanes, courtyards, and garden walls that embrace hundreds of shrines and temples, and you'll quite literally be able to touch history.
So I'm actually touching a piece of Taiwan history right here. This is the oldest wall on the whole of the island and was built in 1624 by early Dutch settlers when they came here and built the castle named Fort Zeelandia, which is just up ahead, so I'm going to go and have a look.
Anping is the oldest part of Tainan. It's also one of the oldest non-indigenous settlements on Taiwan. Back in 1624, it was where the Dutch established a settlement that they called Fort Zeelandia. But their stay was only brief, because 38 years later, Koxinga turned up and drove them out. Koxinga, also known as Zheng Chenggong, was a Ming dynasty general who landed here with 25,000 soldiers and is generally recognized as kick-starting a Chinese cultural renaissance on the island. He's eulogized as the only Han general to inflict a major defeat on a colonial Western power. Another tribute to this much-admired hero is found at the Chokhan Towers, which served as Koxinga's first headquarters. But boring admin centre it is not. It's a pleasant compound with delicate streams and gardens to relax you. Within, you can see a fine visual representation of Koxinga sailing across the Taiwan Strait. But it's not all about war. It became an international business port soon after, and you can still see some of the remains today. Entrepreneurialism is key here, and there's a saying in Taiwan that a man with a wife from Tainan is fortunate, as 9 girls out of 10 come from a rich family. Fact is, Tainan has a reputation for producing great businessmen down through the centuries. Tainan is also home to the building that is considered Taiwan's spiritual center, the Confucian Temple. Dating from 1666, it's one of the most charming and peaceful places in the city. Here, young and old alike come to enjoy some quiet time. The temple is Taiwan's leading center of education on the teachings of Confucius. It's also the center of a whole variety of activities. We've stumbled on an intimate concert, which just goes to show that people in Tainan take their pleasure just as seriously as they do their spiritual well-being.